T-minus 30 seconds. T-minus 20 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. My life has value.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Global Watchman News, exposing satanic world government. My name is Laurie. I hope you guys are all doing well. If you're in the live chat, welcome. I just ask that you do keep your chat family friendly. There will be moderators in the room to make sure that we stay within the terms of service put forth to us by this platform so that we can continue to use this platform, I guess, to bring you shows like this. It's getting much harder and harder for us to stay within those terms of service, but we will do the best that we can tonight. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Take a minute, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you know when we go live. So before we begin tonight, I have a special request. I need for you to keep a very special friend of mine in your prayers. I'm not going to put his name out there. I'm not going to tell you guys what's going on because it's private and personal. But please, when you lay your head down tonight, if you could just say a special prayer for my friend. I know it kind of limits your ability to pray for him, but for those of you that know, you know. Thank you. So I have a lot of things to go over with you guys tonight. First, I'm going to tell you And I wish that I could start this by once upon a time, but I can't. Okay. I don't know what happened last night. So it was about 8 o'clock, and I was upstairs watching TV, and I warmed up some leftovers yesterday afternoon from the night before. Dave and I had some dinner, and he left out early yesterday morning, so I had a little bit of leftovers. So I warmed them up pretty early in the afternoon. I think I ate like between 2 and 3. So it was like 8 o'clock last night, and I was kind of hungry. So it's like, I said, I knew that I had a brand new block of cream cheese downstairs, and I'm trying to stay somewhat keto, but not really keto because of my medical condition. It's kind of hard to do that. That's irrelevant. But so I wanted to stay kind of, being so late, I wanted to stay kind of in the keto family. So what I did is I came downstairs, opened up my refrigerator, grabbed the brand new block of cream cheese, opened it up, took out about a quarter of it, and put it into a bowl, put it in the microwave to soften up for like 15 seconds, brought it out, came over to the counter, wrapped up the rest of the cream cheese, walked to my refrigerator, opened my fridge, and that's the last I remember. It's like I had a jump. And here's where it gets weird. So all this time I'm on the phone with Dave and we're talking, and I started getting like disoriented, and I'm standing at the refrigerator, and it popped in my head. I was like, oh, the cream cheese. Well, I took it out of the microwave, and there wasn't enough. It was like, I want a little bit more. And what I was going to do is I'm going to put some Worcestershire sauce and some garlic, some of my Cajun seasoning, and I was going to mix that up, and I was just going to have it on some of these soda crackers that we had. So I went and I to the refrigerator to grab out the cream cheese that I had just put in the refrigerator, and I can't find it anywhere. And every time I would concentrate on where I just put it, my head started spinning. I started getting dizzy. I told Dave, hang on a minute, I got to go. And I went over and sat down at the table for a minute. And every time I stood up and tried searching for that cream cheese, I got physically sick. So I told him I need to go upstairs and lay down. So I was scared. Okay, I seriously was scared, and I said, please stay on the phone with me. I got into bed, laid back down, and I said, please don't hang up the phone. Just talk to me for a few minutes. And I started feeling a little bit better. And so we hung up, and I rested for a little bit, and he messaged me about a half hour later, and he says, are you okay? And I said, yeah, I'm okay. So I was feeling better. So I got upstairs, and I got out of bed, came downstairs, took my cream cheese out of the refrigerator, the bowl, okay, of cream cheese, put it back in the microwave for about 15 seconds, made my spread, went over to the table, and I was sitting down. And while it was cooling, I got a little bit too hot, so I set it there. I was getting up to get some of my water, and that's when I was like, look, it started bugging me. I'm like, where did I put the cream cheese? I know I put the cream cheese in the refrigerator. I know I did, guys. I know I wrapped it up and I put it in the refrigerator. And I remember setting it. I remember I had to move something to set it, and I tore my entire kitchen apart. We're talking drawers, cupboards, refrigerator, freezer, microwave, underneath my sink. Anywheres where I could have zoned out and stuck it where it shouldn't have been. My pantry, my oven. Guys, that it's nowhere. The cream cheese is nowhere. That's why when I was making the title of this, I was like, I can't explain time warp. I don't even know. I don't know where the cream cheese went. I even looked in my garbage. Yes, Linda, garbage. No, it's not in my garbage. It is nowhere in my house, guys. Nowhere. It was like I walked to the refrigerator and went into this time warp. But no time had passed because I was still on the phone with Dave. Yes, I'm going to be smelling something in a couple of weeks. And that is exactly what I thought of. And, and we have an ant problem, those little really teeny, tiny ants. We got sprayed. Forgot who came in. True Green does our lawn. And, and I have little traps around here. So I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I did not eat it all. No, I didn't. See, that's just it. In the bowl was only a quarter of a block, of cream cheese. But what's really weird about it is the way my head was feeling when it first happened and I was trying to find it. The more things I was moving in my refrigerator to try to find it, the dizzier I was getting. Kind of weird. I don't know. I don't pretend to know what happened. I don't expect you guys to know what happened. But time warp. Only thing I can think of. It is absolutely the only thing I can think of. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I have no clue. So yeah. So that was my kind of my funny story to tell you guys. So that's my time shift. So yeah. All right. I got a lot of things for you on the table tonight. We're going to start off with the Schumann resonance. For those of you that don't know what the Schumann resonance is, it's the heartbeat of the planet. Okay. Let me pull it up. I've got Google up. I got quite a few tabs, and I will put everything into the description area for you guys. I do that. So the Schumann resonances is basically the heartbeat of the planet. They measure it. Well, let's just read what Wikipedia says. It says the Schumann resonance, or the SR, are a set of spectrum peaks in the extremely low frequency portion of the Earth's electromagnetic field spectrum. The Schumann resonances are global electromagnetic resonances generated and excited by lightning discharges in the cavity formed by the Earth's surface and the atmosphere. So think about this. Now, whether you are a flat earther, whether you are a ball earther, it doesn't really matter. Works on both. So this picture right here kind of explains it. I'm going to pull this up. This kind of explains it. And this shows a ball earth, but if you are a flat earther, just kind of move this to the side, or to kind of rotate it a little bit so you can see this dome going over the planet on its side. And this is, like I said, works on both. We're equal opportunity here. So what this is it, when things happen, like the thunderstorms happen, it spikes the frequencies. Now, there's a YouTuber called Mary Greeley who frequently talks about the Schumann resonances. And she has been noticing some spikes going on when pertaining to Yellowstone. I follow the Schumann resonances over here on Twitter. And you can see on the screen, let me make it a little bit bigger for us. You can see on the screen, here we go. They're different colors. We've got the green, the red, the yellow, and the white. And then you've got these bluish colors, and the dark blue and the light blue, the yellow. These white streaks, and what I'm going to do is have you just take a look at that, and then we're going to go over here, and I'm going to show you how to read the chart. So you can see the different colors. So this white area in here is the high intensity. And over the last probably 7 to 10 days, we have been seeing unprecedented spikes in the Schumann resonance. You can see, look at this. Okay. Now, the last time we saw spikes like this was back in 2015, March and April of 2015, when they fired back up CERN. Now, hold on a minute. I got to pull up. Here we go. Because the other day I couldn't share this with you because it had gone kabuki on me. But here we go. As you can see, this is the CERN control panel, and it's shut down. There is no beam running right now. Now, the other day I wanted to show you this, but like I said, it went all honky on us, and we couldn't pull it up. It was I think it was a 505 error, 404 error that was pulled up. But the arc average temperature is supposed to be right around the 200s, low 200s. But there was a spike in the arc temperature that it was red. It's gone now, but I was wondering, and I don't know the answer to this, but if something went wrong. Okay, we don't, and see how it just updated? You just watched it update, and that's what it does. This is in real time, guys, all of these, and if you click on them, they will pop up in another window, and you can actually read these. And this is the one that I'll put in the description area below for you guys to be able to track that. Okay. So there's something going on with the Schumann resonances. And I think this is kind of the way, how can I explain it? So frequencies are all around us. We know that the Earth resonates a frequency of its own. We've got our phones at resonant frequencies, music resonance frequencies, this new 5 thing that's coming out is going to resonant frequencies. So there's all kinds of frequencies around us. And we know for a fact that the governments, and I'm not going to say the U.S. government because I don't believe it's just them. I think it's the governments of the world working together, okay, in these black projects in DARPA, and they are manipulated and changing around frequencies. We saw this back in the 50s, when they changed the music frequency from 432 to 440. And when this, and look at who actually did the change in the frequencies. The Nazi Minister of Propaganda. And they worked closely with the Tavistock Institute. And that is why, through the research that they had from the Montauk projects back in the 1950s, they realized that through ultra low frequencies, and I believe it was maybe between 2.8 and 4, I think it was, on the scale, they realized during the Montauk experiments that they could manipulate what do I want to say? They can manipulate how people react. They could change people from being very peaceful and solitude to being very angry and, in some cases, murderous. So they knew that they could change these frequencies. Now, on August 11th, it's going to be a busy day because there's a lot of things going on August 11th. August 11th is when the pillow guy, whatever his name is, they're supposed to release, documents. I take it with that with a grain of salt, to tell you the truth. Again, we all want a hero, but I think we're looking at people that are part of the whole Hegelian dialectic to be people that are coming in to save the day. And that's not how it works. It's a distraction. But on that same day, apparently they are going to be rolling out a test with not only the 5, but also the emergency broadcast system on that day. So we don't know what's going on. But frequencies have a lot to do with everything around us. I found this today, and I thought this was quite interesting. The human eye can only see between 430 and 770. Our ears can only detect sound between 20 and 20 megahertz and 20 kilohertz. I don't know what those are. These ranges make up the fraction of the total sound and light frequency range. This means that there are so much more going around us that we can neither hear nor see. So the human eye, the human brain, the human ears can only hear and see between different frequencies. Anything above or below those frequencies is out of our range of reality. When we say that there is a spiritual realm that is around us, that is influencing us in this realm, this is what we're talking about. This, whatever is outside the ability for the human eye, the human ear can detect, to see, to hear, to sense, that is the spiritual realm. These entities that are coming through these portals, and they are, guys, the things that we're seeing right now, there's no other explanation for it other than they are opening the portals. They are thinning the veil, and these entities are definitely coming through. And they are around us at all times. We just cannot see it because they vibrate at either a higher frequency or a lower frequency. Either way, we're not going to be able to feel it, detect it, know it, or to even, have that capability of understanding that they are around us, but they are. And a lot of people are in the process right now of some severe spiritual attack. And I'm seeing it with my own eyes on so many different levels. Okay. Now these frequencies and these frequencies that the earth emits is something that affects our planet. Now, if you follow Mary Greeley over on YouTube, Mary Greeley she's actually watching Yellowstone. Now, Dave and I had a chance. We visited Yellowstone. I've never been there. Dave's been there twice in his lifetime. First time I went was back in April. You guys know that we took our trip up to Oregon, met my son in Washington State, and we drove. And we were gone for 2 weeks. We drove from Chicago. We went through Colorado and stopped off. We had one night in Colorado, I think it was, and the next night we spent in Salt Lake City. Went up. We spent another night either just over the Idaho border or just, I think it was just over the Idaho border, and then we finished our trip. We're around there for a while, and then when we came back, we didn't come down Salt Lake City. We came across Idaho, and we went into Yellowstone, and we spent an entire day there. I have a lot of pictures I need to upload before my phone gets rid of them, and I have a lot of videos that I'm going to upload for you guys hopefully soon. But when we were there, we actually went to see Yellowstone, and I do have a video of Yellowstone erupting. We got there, waited about 45 minutes. We sat down with the crowd. They have a bunch of seats where you can sit. It's an actual seating place with these cement seats around it that are far enough away. Probably could sit maybe, I don't even know, probably 1,000 people if you tried to really get people in there. It's this huge place. And we sat and we waited. And before it erupted, you could hear this high-pitched whistle. Sounded like grandma's old teapot when she was on the stove. When you should make tea and you got that high-pitched whistle. Well, apparently, it's gotten worse in the last week or so. Right around the time the Schumann resonances started spiking we started noticing there's some changes going on in the tectonic plate underneath Yellowstone National Park. And she just posted this up 2 days ago, and she says, Yellowstone is not normal. It's screaming harmonic tremors. We know that a lot of times before a volcano erupts, we have these high-pitched harmonic tremors, and we are starting to see that around Yellowstone. The thing of it is there's been a earthquake swarm going on for quite a few months in that area. And she has been watching it. So if you're not following Mary Greeley, I would really suggest you go over there and you follow her, because she is just a font of information. She's amazing. But this is something that we need to keep an eye on, because guys, we keep saying that there is a earth-changing event that is coming that's going to make World War I, World War II, 9/11, and every other event in history look like child's play. Whether it's going to be real, a false flag, or whatever, a red herring, we don't know what, I mean, at this point, it could be anything, but it's going to be world changing. It started last year with a whole thing we're not supposed to talk about, and it is escalating up, and that will be used when the time comes to go into their next phase. So keep an eye out for that. Like, again, I'm going to have all kinds of things for us. Now, the other day, I showed you guys a map of cyber attacks. There's a new one out. This is the new, and it's totally interactive. So I'm moving this around. The reason why I pulled this up for you was not really for the cyber attacks, which, you move it out a little bit for us. You see how they're cyber, see how it's going from point A to point B. Each one of those flashes is from computer to computer, or from hard drive, or server to server. Those are DDoS attacks. Those are malware attacks. Those are all kinds of these crazy attacks going on in real time. But what I wanted to show you was these right here in China. Now, if you look at them and notice them, they are different than these. They don't go anywhere. Look at that. They're not going anywhere. You know they're not attacking themselves. And they're not going anywhere because we're not seeing any of the flashes going in the direction that these are. There should be some going there, and they're not. They're ours, but they're bypassing. They're going over them to another target. So I thought that was quite interesting. It reminded me a little bit of the Aurora Borealis, which is definitely related to the incoming solar winds, and also has to do with the Schumann resonances. So I'm wondering if those have something to do with, or if we're seeing the remnants of the Schumann affecting what we're seeing here. Don't know. I wish I did. We got 2 more here in the U.S. Just thought those were quite interesting. So again, that link will be in the description area for you guys too. Okay, what else do I got? I got a list here. Okay, so let's move on to and if you're wondering where to get that, I follow a Twitter account that's called Defcon Level, and you can go to their website and it'll tell you what the Defcon level is. Currently, we are at a Defcon 4, And I'll pull that up for you. Again, all these things will be in the description area below. But if you can see we're at the Defcon level warning system, you can see we're currently at a Defcon 4. We can go between 5 and 1. 5 being the most peaceful, nothing at all is alarming. 1 being full out thermonuclear war. And you don't ever want to get to Defcon 1. At least I don't want to. So we've got that. Okay, what else do we got here for you? Okay, we got those. The volcano, I did that. Okay, I'm going to pull this up for you for the volcano as well, because this shows the swarms of seismic activity throughout Yellowstone. This is just Yellowstone Park, guys. A lot of these trackers, or a lot of these have been shut off by the Department of Geological. They've shut a lot of these off. But if you get out your map of Yellowstone, you can pretty much see where the activity is. I'm trying to see. Let me pull up Old Faithful for us. Here it is right here. Okay. And if you look at the seismic activity, we've got each one of these lines is a time frame. And you can see that they are coming one after another. And Mary Greeley had defined this as a swarm, an earthquake swarm. You won't find this on the mainstream media because nobody's going to talk about this. They're not going to tell us what's going on. They're not going to incite any sort of fear because, well, you know. Give me just a minute. I was going to, what time is it? Old Faithful is predicted to erupt at 6:05. So we've got a while before it goes off again. I was trying to get it so I could show you guys, but I've got it pulled up. So if we're still on in another 40 minutes, I'll go back to that. But I want to also draw your attention to this, where it says volcano screams before eruption. 2009, Alaska's Redoubt volcano erupted and sent plumes of ash miles into the air. But underground, there was even more activity. In a study published in Nature Geoscience, researchers say the volcano experienced a large number of pre-eruption earthquakes that created a scream. Same thing we're seeing right now happening at Yellowstone. Are we looking at the possibility of an eruption? We are well overdue if you want to listen to the Geological Society. We are well overdue for an eruption at Yellowstone. So, yeah. All right. Let's move on. And let's do that. Okay. Let's talk about D.U.M.B.S a little bit. I'm going to play you something real quick.
Yeah, the underground bases are huge. Some of them have little studios. It ain't nothing. They're big bases, man. Shaped like upside down Christmas trees for stability, like structural strength of the whole thing, so that you don't have to support the weight of the upper floors as much. It's a pretty ingenious design, actually, if you're going to build an underground base like that.
I don't know the exact locations of them, though. They're military bases, like supposedly this Pine Gap in Australia, someplace called Montouk. But these are the advertised places. There's a lot of unadvertised places. Like there's supposedly a underground military base for every state, sometimes two.
The underground bases have connecting tunnels underneath of them, and they go way down deeper.
Okay. So underground, deep underground military bases, or D.U.M.B.S. D.U.M.B.S are what the elite have built underground. You can believe it's either for them to survive whatever's coming or to carry out experimentation out of the eyes of the public. Depends on who you listen to. Phil Schneider is somebody who gave us a lot of information about the deep underground military bases, as did Donald Marshall. You guys can believe whatever you want about those two men. I know there's you either love them or hate them, or but I follow both of them for a number of years. And Phil Schneider, after he revealed what happened to him in New Mexico, going into the deep underground base there, he was shot. He lost fingers. He got shot in the chest by these things that he said were aliens, which we know now are not aliens. They're demonic entities. But research how Phil Schneider died. He was suicided, like a number of other people. It's one of those that you say, how could he have possibly done it? Apparently, he strangled himself. Let me repeat that. He strangled himself using rubber cord, rubber tubing on his porch. Kind of like the guy that shot himself, committed suicide by shooting himself in the head twice. You kind of wonder, well, how does that happen? Exactly, how does that happen? But both of those men talked about deep underground military bases. So I came across something today that I thought was quite interesting. And this is what it's called. It says, welcome to the, now I've never seen this before, guys. If you guys know what ley lines are like the veins of our planet. They, during ancient times, back pre-Diluvian and even before the flood, and even after the flood, the people on this planet, they understood how the earth worked. They understood how you could take the electricity from the planet and utilize it. And they are ley lines. If you research the ley lines, a lot of things are built on it. The pyramids are built on it. Stonehenge is built on it. Most Marian apparitions through the Roman Catholic Church appeared on ley lines. Most of the Catholic Church cathedrals are built on ley lines. Mormon temples are built on ley lines. And the interesting part of it is not only are these things built on ley lines, but this organization, or this thing they're calling Orion lines, are also lining up with the ley lines. And the deep underground military bases, somebody has actually looked at it and discovered that all of these D.U.M.B.S in the Southwest area, and here we have California, Nevada, Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, and Texas, all this area here, Oklahoma. They all are connected, but how they're connected 100% lines up with the constellation of Orion. Now, Orion, and I'm going to show you this right here. There you go. Here's the ones that we know about, our D.U.M.B.S tunnels, military bases or facilities that are underground. But they are identical to the Nazi death marches. And we're going to look at those in a minute. I can't pull this up for you, so I apologize for that. Can't make it any bigger. But if you look at the German death marches along with the D.U.M.B.S in America, you'll see that they kind of line up together. And here's our Orient. Now, these three dots, right? I'm going to put it up to the top of the screen for you. Those three, the 10, the 8, and the 7, that's called Orion's belt. Orion's belt aligns perfectly with the placement of the Egyptian pyramids. They also line, this is how they carve out the D.U.M.B.S. That one can hold 7,000 people. That's from Inside Edition, actually talked on it. And here's Phil Schneider. He went and talked about it. Some more. I'm going to put this link in the description. I don't want to take the chance of getting a copyright strike. But the D.U.M.B.S are identical to the Nazi death marches. Why? Well, the elites, Rothschild has been trading them for human beings as food and drugs. This thing right here for technology since the 1930s. We know darn well that there are people that are missing every single year, not only in the United States, but in the world. If you watched the video called 411, I recommend it, highly recommend it for people, because it talks about how people disappear in our national park systems. There's a theory out there about our national park system. The reason why the government has kept these lands for hiking, for, you know, and they're kind of spread out, like Denali up in Alaska is very spread out. If you go to Yellowstone, Zion, all of these national parks are pretty well large patches of land. And when a person goes in, a lot of these places, especially like up in Washington State or Oregon, if you're going to go up in that area, you know, they tell you to make sure that you're experienced, make sure that you have the proper clothing, make sure you have the necessary equipment that you need for this. Don't go up there by yourself, because every day somebody goes missing. Well, why aren't we hearing about this? Well, if they were to tell us that, you know what, 800,000 people went missing in the United States last year, and we have no idea where they went, people would kind of start asking questions. But the truth of the matter is that's how many people go disappearing every year, and that's we're not getting any answers for it. And there's a lot of people that have lined up these national parks along with the underground military base maps. And if you look, that's not a good one. There's one that I have. I don't know if it's in here, but if not, I will get it for you guys. But it lines up with the parks. And then to see this or to read this, I wonder if that's true. You know that they're getting this from somewheres. So this is a really good site. Actually, I'm not going to even bring up this guy, because this guy, guys, remember back in 2016, Robbie and I, we started talking about this whole thing with this man. And I'm going to highlight his name. I'm not going to say it. And this is what he was involved in. You remember, he was the owner of this in Washington, D.C. Remember that? And it was all on the emails that were released by WikiLeaks. But this guy right here, we put out that information, and he tried to have us, our channel shut down. He actually sent us messages, and it was not very pleasant, our situation with him. But yeah, if you guys were around back then, you know what we're talking about. Robbie and I came on live actually and started mocking him. So these people are actually looking at this, and they're putting a lot of things together. Now, I will give you a warning on this. These are not aliens by any stretch of the imagination. They are interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. There's so much information on this site. I'm not even going to bother pulling it up for you. I'm just going to put it in the description. It also goes on and talks about how Space Force was originally designed as Orion's invasion force. Now, if you look at NASA's insignia, you'll see that the Draco, the Pleiades, and Orion are all three of those constellations are represented in the NASA logo. But on the United States Space Force, Draco, Pleiades, and Sirius is on there. Now, Sirius is it's very interesting that Sirius is on there, because Sirius is the dog star. And that is the one that lines up on the 4th of July, I think it is, directly with the Washington Monument. You know that the city of Washington, D.C. was created on paganism and lines up with, I mean, it's all Freemasonry. It's all, I don't need to go into that. You guys are all aware of that. So it's quite interesting that all of this is coming out regarding Orion, and it happens that it's not even on the new Space Force logo. Thought that was kind of interesting. Now, you guys need to replace aliens with demons, because again, they're interdimensional, not extraterrestrial. But these demons are allowed to hunt human beings in the national forest. This is why the Missing 411 documentary of the millions of people who go missing every year aligns perfectly to the dumps. Here's what I'm talking about. Okay, every one of these orange dots on this map is an entrance to an underground base. And every one of these little colored things next to those dots tell about the different people that are missing from it. So if you haven't seen that, I suggest you watch that. And there's so many videos on here, I can't possibly go into it. Again, up in Alaska, we have the Alaskan Triangle up there, where you have these UFO sightings, which are, again, not extraterrestrial. And each one of these green dots on here is a UFO sighting. Each red dot is a missing person. The amount of people that go missing in the Alaskan Triangle is astounding every year. And then we have the Devil's Triangle. You guys know about that. And then we talk about Antarctica. But a lot of information on this one, guys. You guys, like I said, I'll put the link in the description. All right, what do I got? Last one for us. Okay, this is the one we're going to end with. That's the most important, I think, of tonight. This is the Center for Rural Development, the Rural Development Preparedness Consortium. And we have what is known as MGT 433. All right, this is a class description. This is a training page, okay? And they are training right now MGT 433, Isolation and Quarantine for Rural Communities. This is a course description. This is an 8-hour instructor-led course. Is designed to provide the knowledge necessary to begin planning for situations requiring the isolation and quarantine of a large portion of a local or rural population. This training will provide public and private sector emergency managers, community policymakers, public health, and public safety personnel with the general knowledge necessary to begin planning for situations requiring the isolation and quarantine of a large number of a local or rural population. A rural community's ability to collectively respond to an emergency requiring isolation and quarantine is not only essential to minimizing the negative impacts to the community at risk, but also to minimize the long-term negative economic and health effects on the American public as a whole. Register for a class by selecting a class date from the training schedule. Click on the registration link, the course description, and yeah. So they are actually training people for when it's time to round up. Now, given the information that has been released in the last, let's say, 2 weeks, okay, and I'm going to try to do this the best I can without using words, so please hear me out and try. I hope that you guys get my message. Okay. Quarantine and isolation are normally for only sick people. During the events of the last year, we've seen that they have completely flipped the script on us, and quarantine and isolation for the last year has been the quarantine and isolation of healthy people, something that we've never seen before throughout history. It's always been the sick that has been quarantined. Since the roll your sleever up thingies that we're not allowed to talk about have come out, we know that there are now different strains of this thing that's going around. The 343, okay, 3 being the third letter of the alphabet, 4, fourth letter, 3, third letter. I don't want to say it. You guys know it. It's 343 organization has now changed their mind on just about everything. And they are saying now that the people who got the roll your sleever upper are transmitting this new thing that's out there now. So if we go with that, because nobody seems to be having like a problem with it, I do. But going with that, they are now moving towards mandatory. Here in my area, I'm actually, we won, or not we, but society as a whole won a court case. Loyola College was making the roll up your sleeve mandatory for all students. And let me pull it up so I can show you guys. Hold on a second. Let me get out of this real quick and let me pull up this because this was sent to me earlier today by a girl in my area. Her and I are planning kind of a meet and greet, you might say. Is this it? I don't know if this is it or not. Give me a second. Liberty Council. No, that's not it. Here it is. Okay, let's get this for you guys up on the screen. So Loyola College. Here we go. All right, roll up your sleeve, that thing we're not supposed to talk about. Victory in Chicago. Loyola University gave its students a sinister choice to get that or get kicked out. Loyola sent students and parents repeated menacing text messages threatening to expel all students who don't get that by tomorrow. And this is this is from a lawyer. He says, we helped 11 students request religious exemptions based on their beliefs that they should not partake of those things developed from or tested upon fetal cells lines from aborted babies. Loyola denied all of those exemptions, telling the students that they should just, quote, get over it for the common good. Where does that, you hear that? You know, come on. It's for the common good. I'm sure in Nazi Germany, they were telling the Jews, you know what, really seriously, get on the train for the common good. Liberty Counsel sent Loyola a legal demand letter informing them that they were violating the law and asking them to reconsider. Loyola ignored our request. We drafted the lawsuit and were scheduled to sue Loyola in federal court today at 8 a.m. Because we wanted to give Loyola every benefit of every doubt and every chance to change course, and this is how we roll, we sent them another final letter yesterday that said this. Loyola's denial of religious exemptions to these students is unlawful. The students have retained Liberty Counsel to file a lawsuit against Loyola to vindicate their rights. We have drafted the suit papers and are prepared to file them, but we are willing in a last attempt to avoid litigation. If we do not receive your written response granting these students their religious exemption request by 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is today, the 5th, we will proceed to filing the lawsuit that same day, seeking emergency relief, including a temporary restraining order and damages. Then, like magic, Loyola sent each student on our 11 clients a message yesterday afternoon telling them that Loyola has changed its mind and that their exemption requests are now approved. That is because Loyola knows they do not have a leg to stand on. Mandatory, roll up your sleeve, are illegal under the Nuremberg Code. So my friend and I are getting a hold of this council, and we're going to have we want to call it a town meeting or something. I'm going to do it under a meetup, meet and greet kind of thing. She owns a business. She owns a restaurant, so we're going to have it there. And we're going to see if we can get them to come in and give us and tell us legally what our options are. Because I don't know about you, but I'm not going to have it. Dave's not going to have it. I'm not going to have it. But you know that people are going to be saying you're doing the wrong thing. You're being selfish. You know, just do it and get it over with so we can go back to normal. Well, I got news for you. We're never going back to normal. Doesn't matter if I get it, you get it, your neighbor gets it, your son, your daughter, your dog gets it. Doesn't matter how many people get it. We're not going back to normal. They're going to start rolling out variants. We're already at D, Delta. What's next? Epsilon. When is that set to roll out? Very soon. So what they're going to do is they're going to find out that each variant is going to need a new roll up your sleeve. I'm not doing it. I'm not playing that game. I have a right. I have a choice to make. I don't have to take any experimental drugs, any experimental treatments. That is by volunteer only. Nuremberg Code, look it up. So we're going to see if this guy will come in and talk with us and tell us what our legal rights are as a community. And I would suggest that you guys do this in your community as well. Because we cannot sit back and allow our governments who think that they are pulling one over on us to succeed. Where is the picture? Do I have it here? No, I don't. Let me pull up a picture I wanted to show you guys because I think you need to use it as a visual. Right here. The game cannot be played without the pawns. Can't play chess without pawns. Don't be their pawn. That game right there, that board is sitting on our backs. All we have to do is stand up. We are the majority. They are the upper 2%. 2%. We are the 98%. They'll take advantage of us if they can, if they know they can. They're banking on us just falling into line. Don't plan on doing that. So what's going to happen when they start rounding people up? Who do you think they're going to put into those camps that they have? Is it going to be the ones that have fallen and gotten and obeyed like good little sheep? They got their little card that says, you know, I'm an idiot. I got the roll up your sleever. Or are they going to come after people that are like, screw you, I'm not doing it. You're not touching me. You're not putting that poison into me. Well, they're probably going to round us up and say that we are a danger. We are the ones that are spreading it when we're not. The 343 already told us that we're not, that it's the ones that got it already. Those are the ones that got it already. I think it's time that I got the guests to come on. I have a bunch of guests that I have lined up, but I'm kind of waiting for the right time for them to come on. And I think now is the time because we're seeing this, I almost dropped my phone. We're seeing this kind of ramp up. There was a show I did, it was 2019. It was fall of 2019. I did a couple of shows on the FEMA pastors. And there is a whistleblower that came public letting people know about the FEMA pastors and how they went through training to assure and lure their congregation into obeying the government when the time came. And that whistleblower, I have access to get him on this show. And I think it's time that we listen to him. I think it's time that he told us exactly what the responsibility and the jobs of our pastors are going to be when the time comes. Because it looks like they are really starting to ramp up, especially with this MGT 433. And they're, like I said, teaching individuals how to round up and quarantine and isolate us. So, yeah, let's see. What did we go through? Oh, one more thing. Today, where is it? Did I get rid of it? Oh, no. Here it is. Today in Michigan, let's see, from Davis-Monthan Air Force Base and the Michigan National Guard were performing exercises. And I thought this was quite interesting, just thought it was interesting. I'm going to play it for you guys real quick. I don't know if you noticed, but he didn't land on a runway. They were actually landing those airplanes through the Air National Guard on roadways up in Michigan today. That way they were practicing on landing on places that there were no airstrips. So if you think that you live in a rural area that doesn't really have airports for these planes to land, for the military to drop in, think again, because they are making preparations for that. So, yeah. All right, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. I knew it was only going to be an hour, but there was a lot of information I wanted to give you real quick. If anybody has any idea where my cream cheese is, can you please let me know? Because it's really starting to bother me. And like somebody said in the chat, I think Stasha said in the chat that I'm going to start having something stinking really bad in my house. I don't even know if it's here because I've looked everywhere, guys. And I did not move from the kitchen. At least I don't think so. In that little time warp that I had. So, yeah, I don't know. All right, guys, that's it. I will be back probably, I don't know, Friday night, Saturday. Probably Saturday night I'll be back. And again, if you could, please keep my special friend in your prayers. I would greatly appreciate that. And yeah. All right. I want to thank everybody that joined us. Thank everybody in the chat room. And until next time, guys, you know what I'm going to say. Eyes open. No fear.